See a lot of you guys streaming on Rumble, YouTube, whatever, with your audio way too low, and that's a problem because I got to turn up my volume all the way up. It's even worse with headphones. When you go and raid out to somebody else or somebody switches to another stream or whatever, it's like 10 times louder than you. If your volume's too low, everything else is 10 times louder than you, and and it's just a pain in the ass, and you're not doing anybody any favors by having your volume at anything less than, full red line ear rape. Well, no, you don't want to go ear rape level, but you got to keep it like up in the peak here, like this. And if you're playing desktop audio, like let me play a soundtrack here. Here's a relatively quiet one. So see, I'm up here at like minus 10 dB, I'm peaking around minus 5, minus 7. And the music is about minus 20, so like it's about 15 decibels less. And like, you don't even have to, let's see, can we make this bigger? No, not really. And the way you check that is, well, you stop all the other noise, you go to your stream audio, and you just turn it on. And the way you check that is, well, you stop all the other noise, you go to your stream audio, and you just turn it on. Okay, so that's how you do it. And if it's not right, if it's not like that, then you got to go into your audio settings. If you've got your mic all the way up, as I do, and if you've got any kind of volume knob on your audio interface or your microphone itself, make sure that's up as loud as it can go without getting, if it picks up a little noise, you got to turn it back down a bit. If it gets it's going like, or, you got to turn it back down until it's clear. And then if you still need, if it's not working out right, you got to go into your mic settings and you can do stuff like this. Some people like to have a noise gate, like this, and you could put that up near the top. Probably want noise suppression. Noise gate will, if you talk quiet, if I'm whispering like this and I turn on the noise gate, you won't hear me. But you hear me. See, so that's what noise gate does. And if you want to use that, you might want to turn up the threshold. I don't use it because I don't like my voice being chopped off. It's just too easy to fuck up your audio using this. So I don't use it. Gain, if you need some extra volume on your mic. If I don't use that, then it's like this. You're like, yeah, you can barely hear me, right? So you can barely hear me if I don't have that extra gain. And what's the default? 0. So I like about 20 decibels. Works for me. Compressor. If you don't use a compressor, then when you talk more quietly, it's going to be kind of low. But if you turn on the compressor, it gets louder. You see that? I didn't raise my voice. I just turned on the compressor, and if I turn it off, it's going to get a little quieter again, you see? So you want to have that on. And you could fiddle with the settings a little. You could increase your output gain also. That's another way to raise your volume if you're not using a gain boost like that. Last of all, you have a limiter. These are the default settings. So that way, if I turn that off, you'll see what happens. If I yell into the microphone, it's gonna go up. Well, it could go up into the red, you see? And that's probably going to sound like shit. So let's go listen back. Well, it could go up into the red, you see? And that's probably going to sound like shit. So let's go listen back. Okay, that wasn't actually that bad. But if I turned up the gain all the way, let's try it. 30 decibels gain. Without the, let's see, what if we turn off the compressor and the limiter? So yeah, look at that. Now we're up in the red, and this is probably like ear rape, right? I'm yelling into the microphone really loud. But now, if I turn on the limiter, no matter how loud I yell, even if I have the compressor off, whatever, so it's like we're way up in the red, and now we're limited, and now we're compressed also. So if I whisper like this, you can still hear me. But if I turn off the compressor, it might get quieter. So let's just set that back to what I like, about 20 decibels. That's what works for me, and it should work for you. And remember the order of this. It's noise suppression first, probably noise gate next, gain if you need it, compressor, and limiter. And you got to do the same on your desktop audio, at least the limiter. Yeah, I had volume reduction there, but I guess I don't need that. But you need a limiter, default settings, that's good. Minus 6 dB will give you a little extra wiggle room if your desktop audio and your mic happen to be really loud at the same time. It won't get that clipping ear rape sound, hopefully. So I guess that's why it's minus 6 default and not 0. You never want your limiter to be full volume. You want to cut it off before it gets into that clipping zone where you're going up over the maximum volume of digital audio, where the waveform is just it's just hitting the top and the bottom and flattening out. That's what makes it sound like shit. Unless you're trying to build like a guitar distortion or something, then it's fine. But not for voice or stream audio. Okay, now let's just check that one more time. But not for voice. Gets into dB. Will noise. Let's see, where was I in the red? I just want to check that the ear rape levels. Without the, let's see, what if we turn off the compressor and the limiter? So yeah, look at that. Now we're up in the red, and this is probably like ear rape, right? I'm yelling into the microphone really loud. But now, if I turn on the limiter, no matter how loud I yell, even if I have the compressor off, whatever, so it's like, okay. I'd say that worked. That's the last step you got to do when you fiddle with your audio. You got to go and listen back on your stream, or you could record your stream. If you're not streaming, you can just start recording, and then stop and go listen to the file that it just recorded, and then go back, and if it's not good, go back and tweak your settings and filters and do it again until you get it right. And if you're doing it on stream, just go fill with stuff, then listen to your stream on its slight delay, and keep doing that until you get it right or good enough. Yeah. And generally you want your mic, if you're doing a talking stream, you want your mic levels to kind of peak out at whatever you set your limiter to. You want that, see that little yellow dot there? That's your peak level. That should be, let's see. I guess it'll eventually go down, but you want it to be peaking out there. Like you see when I speak up, that yellow bar goes right up to -6. That's where you want to be. You don't want to be talking. If you're talking and it's never and it's never getting up into, you want it to be pretty much steadily in the yellow when you're talking. And you want your desktop audio, your game, whatever you're playing, if you want to be heard over it, then you want to make sure that the actual sound level of it is like this far below. Like, you know, like on my screen, that's about a finger's width, which you can't see. But, you know, if your voice is up here in the yellow, then your desktop audio should be down a little bit in the green. And it should never be getting up into the yellow, probably. Let's test that. So that's one of my louder soundtracks. Yeah, see, that never even gets up to -20. Never gets anywhere close to the yellow. So yeah, you probably want it to be, yeah, it's about 15 decibels less. You know, -6, -22, something like that. Yeah. All right, so that concludes this tutorial.